We would like to welcome you to this short introductory webinar on the Wellbeing Policy Statement and Framework for Practice document, henceforth referred to as the Wellbeing Framework. The aim of this webinar is to introduce you to the main elements of the Wellbeing Framework and how it can be used to support whole school wellbeing promotion. It might be useful for you to have a copy of the Wellbeing Framework to hand as you venture through this webinar. You can access and download the Wellbeing Framework on the Department of Education website at www.education.ie. This Introduction to Wellbeing Promotion webinar acts as a preliminary support only. Further details regarding support will be covered at a later stage. This webinar is a follow-up to an online introductory workshop that school leaders and teachers were invited to attend during spring 2021. A full-day national PDST seminar is planned for 2021-2022, following Department of Education guidance. During this webinar, we will look at the following: the Wellbeing Policy Statement and Framework for Practice document, the roles and responsibilities within the school community in wellbeing promotion, the wellbeing promotion process, and finally, the supports and resources that are available for schools. It is important that when we talk about well-being, that we focus on our own well-being too. Therefore, we would like to take this opportunity to draw your attention to the Employee Assistance Scheme, Wellbeing Together, or Fallónin le Chéile, which is available to all school staff members. This is a confidential service which is being made available by the Department of Education to you and your family members, spouses and dependents over the age of 18, that provides help and support in managing whatever work or personal issues you may be facing. The service is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year round. There are a collection of informative videos, articles and webinars on areas such as well-being, nutrition and exercise available through their website. Further information about this service and how you can register to access this service can be found on the Department of Education website. We would like you to pause this presentation to take a moment to read through the following key messages of the Wellbeing Framework. When you have finished reading the 3 key messages, please press play. Please note that the date for schools to initiate a wellbeing promotion review and development cycle through the self-evaluation process has been extended from 2023 to 2025. As well-being is a nuanced term, it is important that schools have a shared understanding and language when it comes to the definition of well-being. The definition of well-being, found on page 10 of the framework, is taken from the World Health Organization's definition from 2001 and is as follows: well-being is present when a person realizes their potential, is resilient in dealing with the normal stresses of their life, takes care of their physical well-being, and has a sense of purpose, connection and belonging to a wider community. It is a fluid way of being and needs nurturing throughout life. Developing, nurturing and sustaining our well-being is a lifelong process. You may wish to pause this presentation and reflect on your own conceptualization of well-being. And when you have finished, press play to continue. The Wellbeing Framework sets out the Department of Education's ambition and vision for wellbeing promotion, building on the many guidelines and frameworks that are already available to support and promote the wellbeing of children and young people. It provides an overarching structure encompassing existing, ongoing and developing work in this area. The implementation of the Wellbeing Framework is an ongoing process that will ensure the necessary focus on supporting children and young people in having a sense of purpose and fulfillment, and the skills necessary to deal with life's challenges. Through this framework, schools are guided to identify their own targets for development and to monitor and evaluate their own success through the use of statements of effective practice set out in Section 2 of the Wellbeing Framework. This approach correlates with the already familiar school self-evaluation process in primary and post-primary schools. The Department of Education aims to ensure that the experience of children and young people from the early years and throughout their primary and post-primary education will be one that enhances, promotes, values, and nurtures their well-being. So what are schools required to do? When engaging in a wellbeing promotion process using the Wellbeing Framework, a school is engaging in the SSE cycle of improvement and review. Every school and centre for education is required, by 2025, to use the SSE process to initiate a wellbeing review and development cycle. Information on this can be found on page 5 of the framework. It is important to note that schools are not required to produce a separate wellbeing policy. The Wellbeing Framework is divided into 2 sections. Please turn to page 3 of the Wellbeing Framework to read the content overview of each section. Section 1 of the Wellbeing Framework sets out the Department's overall vision for wellbeing promotion in schools and centres for education, provides a definition for the concept of wellbeing, and describes the role of schools and centres for education in terms of wellbeing promotion. Section 2 of the Wellbeing Framework sets out how the SSE process can be used to support wellbeing promotion. The most beneficial and evidence-informed approach to wellbeing promotion in schools and centres of education is one which is multi-component, preventative, and whole school in nature. Whole school involves all members of the school community establishing a shared vision by engaging in a collaborative process of change to improve specific areas of school life that impact upon well-being. In the framework, the term multi-component refers to the 4 key areas of well-being promotion outlined on page 16 of the framework. The 4 key areas are culture, curriculum, policy, planning, and relationships. These key areas are adapted from Junior Cycle Wellbeing Guidelines 2021 and informed by the HSC Schools for Health process. Finally, by implementing a comprehensive multi-component approach to wellbeing promotion, schools and centres for education are assuming a proactive and preventative approach to enhancing the well-being of the whole school community. Just like with all school improvement, it is essential that the whole school community is involved in the wellbeing promotion process and evaluation. This includes all stakeholders, including parents, guardians, pupils, students, and all staff. On page 25 of the framework, it states that the student support team and school leaders will be responsible for implementation in post-primary schools. At primary level, school leaders will have responsibility for implementation, and in centres for education, responsibility will lie with the centre coordinator. It is important to reiterate again that even though the school leaders are responsible for its implementation, wellbeing promotion is the preserve of all school staff. There are a suite of resources available to support your school as you embark upon your wellbeing promotion process. Please take a moment to have a look at some of the resources available to you. You may already be familiar with some of the documents shown here on the slide. Together with the publication of the Wellbeing Policy Statement and Framework for Practice document, the Department of Education has also developed a directory of CPD and a catalogue of resources for both primary and post-primary schools. You can access and download a copy of these key resources in the Wellbeing and Education section on the Department of Education website at www.education.ie. Additional supports and resources can be accessed on the following websites. Specific resources pertaining to the use of the Wellbeing Framework are available on the Department of Education website, again found on www.education.ie under the Wellbeing in Education section. Some of these resources include wellbeing templates for gathering evidence, information on how to conduct focus groups, a directory of wellbeing CPD, and a catalogue of wellbeing supports for all primary and post-primary schools. The national rollout of a full-day seminar in the 2021-2022 academic year will comprehensively explore how a school community can use the framework to promote well-being in their school context. Schools have the option to apply for bespoke PDST in-school support by visiting the PDST website on pdst.ie/school support. This support will be facilitated by a PDST Health and Wellbeing Advisor, and it will be tailored to meet the specific path and pace of each individual school. Thank you for your engagement with this short introductory webinar to wellbeing promotion in your school. We hope you have found it useful.